Welcome agents. Division 2 has released a September schedule detailing what we can expect from each livestream in September with a handy infographic. Today I wanted to go over the post detailing what's coming and when in this video, along with some other little bits and bobs. If you enjoy this one, please hit the like button below and subscribe for dedicated Division 2 content. And with that said, let's do this. Okay, so I never actually expected this today. After my Wednesday video talking about the lack of communication surrounding the postponement of State of the Game this week, this has actually come as a huge positive surprise. So let's go through the post on the official Division 2 page. The post from the devs, it goes to say this: while the return of State of the Game was postponed to next week, we still wanted to share the content of the show and detail what you can expect for our upcoming September live streams. The team is working hard behind the scenes on the next title update, and we want to share a schedule with our community. Elite Task Force Echo is active and underway at Massive in Malmo, Sweden. We received a lot of applications, and the team is very excited to see how engaged the community is with all the things ETF. Currently, the developers are working closely with a group of players selected to represent the various playstyles within the wider Division community, including PvE, PvP, group play, and solo players. We are presenting some of the changes we have planned and detailing their feedback and suggestions in response to these changes. This workshop is a part of an ongoing effort of community involvement in the future of the Division 2, supplementing our existing feedback channels, such as the official forums and the community subreddit. All members of ETF Echo are under NDA, and so they will not be spoiling any of the discussions here at Massive. There is a strong focus on the health of the Division 2 in these workshops, with some of the changes and improvements being discussed during upcoming State of the Games. So for September 11th, improvements come into gear and the loot system to make things more interesting for players. We are planning articles discussing these updates in case you missed the live stream. September 18th, Dark Zones and conflict changes, specifically methods to make the DZ more populated, such as changes in the matchmaking system. Players can also expect PvP balance and rewards discussions. And then September 25th, we will focus on the road ahead for the Division 2, providing more information for the future. We are looking forward to the upcoming live streams and hope to see everyone there. Okay, so I think this is really positive news, and this sort of communication is something I've wanted from them from a very long time. This is what I was talking about in my video on Wednesday, where they postponed it and how we didn't actually get a confirmation as to why until 5 hours later. But this sort of communication where they're detailing what we can expect to see and when is just, for me, that's just really positive. Like I've said before, the way I see it is providing no update, but just saying we've got no update is better than providing nothing at all. In this situation, they obviously knew what they're going to be talking about. They've told us what they're going to be talking about in these upcoming live streams, and that to me is the sort of communication I want to see. Now, we knew that loot, gear, and PvP were kind of the main focuses for Title Update 6, but it's actually a really nice surprise that the last live stream for September will be focusing on the things to come, because I'm just really itching for some new content, as I'm sure you all are. We had expeditions, which for me were underwhelming, and episode 1 generally was fairly underwhelming. I mean, the missions they looked pretty, but generally, the whole update and content was pretty underwhelming. So there isn't a whole lot for me to do right now, aside from the raid, which I'm going to keep saying because I still haven't done it, and I don't know if I'm ever going to do it. But essentially, there isn't a whole lot for me to do right now, and so yeah, I'm looking forward to some new content. Now, we know with episode 2, we're going to be going to the Pentagon, I believe, and that just gets me really excited. So hearing about that stuff, all of this stuff for me is this is all positive news. Now, in terms of the ETF, I'm very excited with the work they've done. For one main reason, really, Lieutenant Buzz Lightbeer, who was another content creator, streamer, all that good stuff, was invited, and he tweeted this yesterday. I can't go into details, but I can say that the entire ETF group has been actively engaged in a huge range of upcoming content. In terms of content and positive changes, the player base has been requesting. All I can say is this: holy. And you can see what that says. I don't want to get demonetized. so yeah, and that's important for me because Lightbeer is a really strong candidate for the ETF, and I respect his opinion a lot and his input. So I have a lot of time for him, and him going there, giving his feedback. I'm just hopeful that we're going to actually see some very good changes with Title Update 6. Lightbeer isn't the sort of person to hype something up if he didn't think it was actually good or it was worth the hype. And the tone of his tweet to me suggests that he's very excited, so that just makes me very excited too. Now, whilst I bash the game sometimes, you guys know it does need it. Let's be honest, there are times when the game needs that criticism, and I do that. But ultimately, I'm positive that with some good changes, the game can be reignited with Title Update 6. We're just going to have to wait and see, I guess. In other news, we had 2 maintenances this week, and I just wanted to go over the patch notes for those maintenance, just so that I can say that I've done it and you guys are aware of what's coming or that came with those patch notes. And they're as follows. Fix an issue where weekly invasions were not showing up for some players. Fix an issue that allowed players to acquire 90 rounds of ammo for the Eagle Bearer, which is crazy, and I'm really glad that they fixed that because it really needed to be fixed. And fix an issue that caused low-level players who were joined by a World Tier 5 player to get all the main missions unlocked. Now, it would have been nice to have seen a fix for the reload glitch that I showed off last week with the Diamondback. I've come across a few players using this, to keep themselves alive in certain scenarios, so let's just hope that's fixed as well soon. All in all, I'm actually just really happy, guys. And I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. I was expecting to wait until at least next Wednesday to be happy and all that sort of stuff with where it's going. But I'm just really happy that we've had this little infographic come out today, and we've got at least some sort of time frame and something to show that something's happening, essentially. I do feel like I'm on a bit of a roller coaster with this game, and it very much feels like the Division 1. But for me, I hope that just keeps going up. So, in maybe a month's time, I can make a video titled 2 steps forward and 0 steps back, instead of the 2 steps back. That's what I really hope, and I'm sure that with Title Update 6, that's what's going to happen, for the reasons that I've mentioned in this video. Aside from that, guys, that's pretty much it for today's video. There isn't a whole lot more that I need to talk about. Ultimately, I'm just very excited that we have some news, in the sense that we know what's coming, we know the dates it's coming. Like I said before, would I have liked it to have been sooner? Possibly. However, I think it's important that the devs take their time in making sure that this update comes out and it's as good as what we want. I've said in a previous video that if they can implement 75% of all the stuff that I fed back, which was based not only on my own experiences and my own opinions, but also on taking all of your guys' stuff, we can get 75% of all of that good stuff, then this update is going to be absolutely fantastic. And from what I've been told that this update is going to be pretty special. Now, obviously, I would take anything that's being said as a pinch of salt, even from me. At the end of the day, I mean, I don't know for sure what's coming. The ETF is under NDA. I highly doubt any of the ETF members are going to tell me anything for me to leak or whatever, just because they're just not going to do that. So all of my stuff is ultimately speculation, but I gave a lot of feedback to this game, as I'm sure all of you guys have on the forums and the Reddits and all that stuff. I produced 5 videos that were all of them were over 10 minutes long, so at least an hour's worth of just an hour's worth of stuff that they could look at, with no real mumbling or whatever. It's just here's what you should do and these are the reasons why. And I make 75% came in, then I'd expect that Title Update 6 is going to be a very, very, very good update. So overall, I'm very excited. I apologise if I've been negative over the last coming weeks with some of my videos, but I'm sure you guys can understand. It's not been easy with this game over the last couple of weeks, and it's a shame, really, because the Division 2, when it launched, was a fantastic game. There's no doubt about it. This game, if someone asked me whether they should buy the Division 2, I would absolutely say yes, because the game is worth the cash. For the campaign and the amount of content you get is absolutely worth it. It's just when you get to the end game, the same problem that Division 1 actually had, is when you get to the end game, you start to see the issues, and there's not a whole lot of replayability there. The Dark Zone isn't as good as what it was in the Division 1, at least, and that's down to a couple of reasons. Not being populated enough, the NPCs in the Occupied Dark Zone being way overpowered. I don't like the turrets too much, really, among other things, of course. Conflict has been better recently, but was laggy. It's boring. It feels tactical when this game shouldn't be. It should be fun. And that's, for me, those at least are the replayability factors. PvP for me is that's the thing that I'll keep replaying. Aside from that, you've got the raid, which requires 8 players. So, it's actually hard to get into. So there's no real replayability there unless you've got 8 friends or you've got the time to go onto LFG and all of that sort of stuff. And then we had Expeditions as PvE content, but it was removed. And I think it was removed because it wasn't living up to the hype, and because they really wanted to put it out with a mastery system, which I believe is what was going to make the content replayable. Without it, it wasn't replayable. So overall, the game is awesome, but at the end game, it does lack severely, and this is what this update is going to change. Hopefully. Fingers crossed, toes crossed. Everything's crossed right now, guys, and I'm really, really hopeful. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Thanks very much for watching today. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. If there is any news that comes out over the weekend, I will try my best to get it out. But generally, I try not to go on media and whatever on the weekends. I try to have a bit of time to myself. With that said, until the next one, guys, epic out.